My name is Zoe Roop, and today I will be presenting on epistemic bubbles and echo chambers. First, some definitions to clarify the concepts. Epistemic bubbles, an informational network from which relevant voices have been excluded from omission. The views excluded might be ones that make us uncomfortable to think about. For example, a private Christian school in which a majority of the parents and staff members share the same values and desire to teach them to the children. Education will be taught with a Christian focus, thus perhaps limiting the children's exposure to the beliefs of other religions or secularization and the behavior typically found within the public schools, drugs, premarital sex, fights, etc. Now to clarify the concept for echo chambers. It is defined as a social structure from which other relevant voices have been actively discredited. An example of that could be a group of individuals who believe that only reading classic literature is worth it. They might even attack the writing style of modern literature, saying that it does not cause a higher level of thinking and is mindless. Next, I want to do some main comparisons between echo chambers and epistemic bubbles. First, we'll go to echo chambers. Echo chambers actively distrust those on the outside. They do this by discrediting the outsider's authority, while those in epistemic bubbles focus too narrowly on one topic and not enough on others. Those in an epistemic bubble are simply misinformed about where to get their information. Another comparison. Those in echo chambers undermine voices, as mentioned above, by proving them to be untrustworthy, while those in epistemic bubbles do not hear other voices around them, and not purposefully. Third, in echo chambers, there is no ceiling of belief for an influential individual. People stuck under this will continually believe their leader, for example, no matter how many things that they have been told by them. In epistemic bubbles, however, there's a sort of realization that people are fickle and cannot have the answers to every question of life. Next, I want to talk about the source of irrationality in echo chambers. Echo chambers are so resistant to outside perspectives due to the belief that outsiders could pollute their minds with the ideas that are false or misinformed. The ironic part about this is that by excluding information from themselves, they are becoming the very thing that they fear. Why is it so difficult for individuals to escape echo chambers? It is difficult for some people to escape echo chambers because for some, it's all they've ever known. Asking them to leave an echo chamber would, 1, require them to realize that they are in one, and 2, realize that there are other ways of thinking besides the ones they've been taught their whole lives. Next, I want to go through 2 different methods of an epistemic reboot. First, the Cartesian epistemic reboot. It calls those stuck in an echo chamber to completely start all over by abandoning what they've previously believed. This, however, is nearly impossible since you must believe in something as a foundation for other beliefs. The second epistemic reboot, called the social epistemic reboot, calls echo chamber members to suspend all beliefs and start the regathering process. Unlike the previous method, this one calls a person to question his or her social groups and the influence that they may have. However, this method emphasizes the importance of having a growing community alongside you as you go about this journey. The root cause of the problems those in echo chambers face is the constant pressure to distrust and isolate themselves from those on the outside. This only fuels the consistent spread of ideas that align with the goals or interests of the group. Additionally, this spread prohibits those inside of the echo chamber from having experiences or realizations that what they have been told might not be true, thus further trapping them inside of the chamber. Next, I want to talk about a strategy for freedom. This is the proposed strategy by the author of the article, and his strategy is this: attack the root, repair broken trust, restore the trust in outside voices, and do good unto those who are stuck. We can pierce an echo chamber by doing good unto them, by proving ourselves to be trustworthy. This might bring about a sort of thought that other people have about us, that we might be trustworthy in other areas, and thus pulling them from their sources into a space where they can grow and learn and not be pressured by different variables. Next, while I agree with the author's strategy, I've added a few steps to it. This is my proposed strategy for helping someone escape an echo chamber. 1. Echo chambers seek to create 2 polarizing sides, which feed off of the distrust of others. This is an idea first expressed by Mark Travers in his article, How to Break Out of Echo Chambers. 2. Those inside of echo chambers may have been conditioned, due to fear, to fight off those outside of the chamber and view them as malicious or evil. 3. Humans outside of the echo chamber must prove their goodwill and care for those stuck inside by momentarily disregarding the opposing beliefs and connecting with them on a human or relational level. 4. Goodwill and care can be shown to those inside the echo chamber by expressing care for their whole being, soul, mental, physical health, etc. By caring for someone inside the chamber beyond their thoughts or opinions, we can help them realize that outsiders can be trusted. And lastly, trust creates a starting point for new ideas to be learned through relationship and community support. Next, I would like to talk about a possible naysayer argument and how I respond to that. So the naysayer argument I've chosen is this, quote, "Not all echo chambers are created out of a purposeful motive to create distrust. Some chambers might form out of common interests or goals." My rebuttal would be this. While echo chambers might not start out as being intentionally malicious, actively seeking to discredit those in opposition to you creates division. While it might not be division within the chamber, it divides those with which have the same heart that gives them life and the same mind that is capable of thinking. It puts human against human, thus creating distrust. And here's my works cited. Thank you for listening to my presentation on epistemic bubbles and echo chambers.